everybody just calm down. Okay, everybody close your eyes.
My eyes are closed.
Everybody close your eyes. Everybody do this with me. Breathe in. Breathe out. You know what happened to Danny was rough. What Danny and Angie, what happened to them was rough. Everybody breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in.
Mountain breaths.
Breathe out. Okay, does everybody feel better now?
Yes.
Not really.
A little bit.
Bullshit! Oh my god!
It's chaos in here, guys.
So much for the All right.
Look, you gotta take those deep breaths. You gotta take those deep breaths.
Mountain breaths.
Deep breaths.
Deep breaths.
Where are my headphones? Where are my headphones? All right. Breathe in.
In and out, in and out.
No.
Hello,
Can we
everybody.
start
Welcome
now?
to Croqueta chat.
Okay. We're here.
Gotta let out some steam for what happened today.
Let it out.
Chat. But we have some very special guests with us.
Yes.
And we are so happy to have Ricky.
All right.
Wow. What's happening there? Can I do the same? I guess it doesn't work that way.
It's magic.
This is the Inception episode, everybody. We have, all right, so let me start off with Mike. Mike came down. He has to work close to Miami in the morning, and he is here in our casita. A very special episode. All right. We have Mr. James Wallington, Mr. Champion from season 32. This is not his first time with us. He's on with us all the time. And
We love
we
it.
have Ricky and Cesar. Like I said, Ricky.
Ricky.
Ricky. Love my Hawaiian mid team. I got my semi-Hawaiian shirt
You
on.
know, just some floral, something.
You know, a
something.
little spice, a little flair.
You guys are absolutely killing it. And nobody's talking about you guys.
You know, just hanging out over here.
Well, for this episode. So we I hear an echo big time on.
Do you guys
Do
hear
you guys
it?
hear an echo?
I
Yeah.
hear the echo.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear that? Echo?
Yeah,
All right.
I hear
I'll
so.
figure it out.
Okay. So
You're just so loud.
I gotta
All right.
yeah.
Huge
All right, let me put my gain down. Let me try to lower my voice here. Okay. So Ricky and Cesar, you guys are absolutely killing it. Team, I'm loving watching you guys race. And you guys now have 5 first places. Is that correct?
That's
And
right.
2 second places, right?
3 second.
3
please.
seconds.
Places. And wow, you're making amazing races history. All right.
It is still unbelievable. It's like
It's still unbelievable. It was unbelievable then, and it's still unbelievable now. We really, like, when we went into it, you know, the first lineup, you look at everybody and you're like, wow, these are competitors. And we
I mean,
didn't underestimate anyone.
And the lineup, like you start hearing everyone's professions. Like you have had some time to
Backstories.
just like try to measure everyone up.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like you start hearing everyone like
Pilots, you've
retired
got
police
federal
officers.
agents, you've got super fans, you've
And
got,
I think
you know, just everybody. And you're like, okay, I'm a preschool teacher with a musical theater background. You've got a chef who's a super fan. It's like, how do we measure up? And then, you know, as we go through and we're like, whoa, these things are, our background ends up like working out for us, and our ability to be flexible is like, whoa, it's like, this is the secret sauce, and it's
these
like
are pretty
working
much
out.
yeah. And the moment that we realized, like on the super fun part of it, like it was just learning. Like that first leg, like it was a lot of learning.
A lot
Like,
of learning.
We were just like thankful that we were making the mistakes early on, and that we were taking notes about those.
Yes.
And just
I
like
don't see a lot of learning. I see a lot of winning from you guys.
Listen, I got to give you credit for so many things. At first, people were saying that you guys were the Spanish speakers, which I know both of you don't speak Spanish. But they were saying that the game was kind of rotated around to you guys, but you guys know your stuff. You ask the right questions. You do the right things. Like every little single detail, you guys are paying attention to. So I love it. And I love to see your communication as a couple as well.
Those viewers are just jealous. They're just jealous that they can't even begin to run the race like the two of you do. So like they need to be quiet because you two are absolutely dominating. And honestly, every season there are things that come into play that a team excels at because of real world experiences. And it just so happens that you guys are just so damn good at everything.
Well, you know, it's like you pick up a lot of things along the way. And one of the things that I think really helped us is kind of like we had a lot of exposure to many things growing up. Like, you know, I was like outdoorsy, but also very artsy. And so it kind of like opened the doors to lots of different interests. And that kind of like, it really helps you. It doesn't like close the doors and gives you the opportunity to do stuff. Like I like to play sports, but I also am crafty and artsy. So like that stuff, like, I don't know. It just gives you an advantage and an edge.
I just have to say hi to Angie. I see
And
Angie's here, and so is Juan.
Juan and Shane. Yeah,
Juan
so I
and
think that's another thing. And also being adaptable and like being able to just be like flexible and not get so stuck. I do have a hard time. Like I like to be in control. I am type A.
Oh, and I was having the time of my life. I was like, oh, we're in the race.
But that's the other thing. You have to have fun. If you get so focused and so competitive, like
that's when you start, like, I mean, we saw it in the last episode. Like there was some friction there, but like the moment that we got directions, we were like, okay, we're enjoying now. Like I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Like now we can
two in your head, and you get what I get, and you get the sassy face, and you're like, well, I need you to know what you're doing.
The sass.
Oh, we got that face on camera.
That was my favorite part.
We have that face. We just have to give Mike a second to upload. So we'll get back to that in a little bit, okay, guys?
Yeah. Let's get to that face because that face was beautiful. Which, by the way, one of my most surprising moments of you was the moment.
It's a robic.
Oh, okay.
No.
That face is fine. This is the face of the episode that we absolutely loved. And Michelle made me pause it right away and take a picture of it.
You wanted human? You get human.
There you go.
That needs to be the thumbnail for the episode on Paramount.
For real. That was my face when you said something about welding, that your family does welding. I was like, he knows how to weld too.
Like I didn't get to finish my part because that's what we were like. What Ricky was saying, that growing up outdoorsy and all of that. Like for me, like I grew up in northern Mexico. I'm originally from Texas. I grew up in northern Mexico. Like, let's say that over there it's a little more conservative in the point that, like, even in junior high, you have to do workshops, but it was like certain workshop for men and some other for women. So I could not do craft. I could not do anything like
home ec.
Yeah,
and like
nothing like that. So I had to pick whether welding or electricity. So I ended up in welding. And it happened as well that my grandpa had a whole workshop like for welding. And like my dad has been always like passionate about cars and all of that. I have never been like getting my hands super dirty. I'm like, no, thank you. I'll go to the kitchen. But like in school, I had to do it. So like the resources were there. Like my grandpa did have that workshop there, but I never actually showed much interest. But I had to do it because I was like, that was one of my only choice in junior high. So I feel like growing up like that, like doing the things that you like, and in a way like the things that you're being forced, and like we were there, and I was like, whoa, like this payoff. Like 20 years ago, I did this in junior high, and like, look at this, like I'm doing it again.
That's amazing.
It's nice to see when someone goes to a challenge that they can excel at, because they just like brighten up. Like even like Angie in this episode, knowing how to play tennis, it's so beautiful to see. But at the same time, it's kind of also a little challenge because people are wanting you to own up to it. Like, oh, you know how to weld, you know how to do tennis. Let's see what you can do. So it's also a little nerve-wracking.
And we have some more Ricky and Cesar content coming up. All right, a lot of topics on the wheel of robic today. So let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about what everybody's talking about this episode, because we have to, right? So our thoughts behind what happened today. All right, let's start from the beginning. I'm gonna tell you what I saw live on TV. I saw Angie possibly not taking the correct lane in traffic, maybe not abiding by some rules. The crew gets turned around, maybe stuck in a specific lane, has to get off. Something happened there. Then you also have Danny's confessional saying, if you lose your crew, you cannot continue. He's like kind of insinuating that throughout the episode. So I'm trying to go back in time and think, because we also had a leg without a crew. Did you, James, at any point?
No.
So for us, it was in Spain, and it was a different feeling, not having anybody around us. There was a point where you have walkie-talkies, and they ask you questions through the walkie-talkies, kind of like to give content, and you kind of just talk as if it's you're having a conversation, right? So on the walkie-talkie, be like, hey, how do you guys feel? What place are you guys in right now? And we'll give that content. Basically, there was a real quick funny story. We're just driving. All of a sudden, the crew car comes next to us, right?
We forgot about our crew.
We're just driving, and they roll down the window, and they're like, your radio is off.
No,
You're walkie-talkie.
Not yet. We hadn't heard that yet. They started pointing, and we're just like,
you would.
Content
party.
for the camera. Yeah, we're like, yeah. And they're like, then we pass them.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they're pointing again. And we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like a third time where they're like, no, you're walkie-talkie.
Yeah, your walkie-talkie's off. And we're just like, we didn't hear you. So sorry. So whatever, we put it on. So there's other variables that go on with this, Ricky and Cesar. You guys went through it as well. Now, not only are you trying to pay attention to where to go, now you got to keep, in mind the crew behind you. Okay. When we did it, I don't remember them saying you have to keep your crew with you at all times. That was never a thing. Okay. But I wasn't sure. Maybe they told him that in the briefing this time. So I'm thinking, man, Danny should have pulled over. I'm really at first I'm like, meet them at the detour. I even live tweeted. I'm like, just go meet him at the detour. And then Danny did what I would have done, met them at the detour. We see it on TV. I swear to you, I thought it was like maybe 10 minutes. And then that's not what happened. We learned today that Danny was waiting for 45 minutes until they finally got a crew. And it wasn't even their own crew, right? It wasn't until 25 minutes into the task that their actual crew got there.
Yeah. They
lost by 7 to 10 minutes. Okay. That's rough. Seeing that happen to that team, right? That's something that nobody was rooting for. We're rooting for an underdog, right? To make it far in this race. They had a great leg, and what's up, Q? And basically they lost. They got eliminated in a way that nobody has ever been eliminated in the history of the amazing race, right?
It hasn't happened.
Yeah. James, your thoughts of this whole situation that went down. What were you thinking live, and what did you feel after?
Wait, I'm sorry. Before you start, James, it was really funny because me and James and Lewis always speak about the episode through text messages. And Lewis woke up today and told me, oh, James disagreed with me on Twitter.
James,
we need to have him on.
James was like tweeting. I tweeted the whole thing like this, like 3 tweets, and James is like, I disagree completely.
I love it. I love it though, because everyone has their opinion based on their experience.
So, in short, I watching the episode felt like the crew lost Danny and Angie, and that's just based on my experience. We didn't have a self-drive leg where we weren't with our crew, but when we were in India, we had to get a rickshaw for Will and I, and because they're small, we had to get a rickshaw for our audio and camera guy. And so once we had 2 rickshaws, they hooked up the GoPros and they said, we might lose you because it's so congested in Hyderabad. They said, we might lose you because they're weaving in and out of traffic. So if we do, just know we are right behind you and we'll meet you at the next destination. So when I watched this play out, I thought that was the same situation where I'm like, okay, the crew clearly couldn't take that turn. The next best thing is to meet them at the destination. Well, watching the episode and hearing how much Danny and Angie talked about this situation, I started to think, well, maybe they did break a rule. Maybe there's something with what they were told before the leg started that we as viewers are not getting. So then I'm texting Danny and I'm like, hey, I'm watching the episode. Like, this is what I'm seeing. Like, what's going on? So I kind of got a little bit more intel from him while I was watching live. So it's the only reason why I disagreed with you, Lewis, because I had a little bit more info at the time. But I feel like in the spirit of the race, just historically speaking, if they were to get a penalty for breaking any type of rule, it should not have been pausing their race while they figure out how to best handle this rare circumstance that's never happened before. They should have been like, keep going, because we all know there's a completely different set of camera crew at the task. They should have let them continue the task and then hope that their crew show up after the fact.
Did you think they had enough camera crews there for them to film
at
right
this
away?
point, it's hard to say because I don't know how the COVID seasons are structured with like keeping crew on, but with our season, crew stayed on. They would travel to the next destination. So if a team was eliminated, that crew or that camera guy or audio guy would be kind of used at a destination. So you're not really losing crew. So I feel like halfway through this race, you'd assume that they would still have enough crew like hanging out at the tasks. But I just don't feel like their race should have been put on hold while they figured out where their crew was. So that's kind of where I was at with the whole situation. I do agree with you, Lewis, when you said that the production is fair. Of all my reality TV experiences, I will sing the race's production's praises till I'm blue in the face. They will absolutely go above and beyond to make sure everyone understands what's happening. They will absolutely assess the situation to make sure that they're making a fair judgment call based on what they know. So I think that they felt like they made the right choice, but as a viewer and someone who was on the show, I can't help but think if I was in this situation, it would have probably gone a little differently.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. I feel like production would have never wanted Angie and Danny out. Like their unique mother-son team and them excelling so well in the race, like they wouldn't have wanted them out. I just think this was a situation where the crew was lost and they had no idea how to manipulate this.
Never happened.
Exactly.
I think it was something that had never happened before, and they were kind of like stumped on how do we solve this in a fair and proper manner.
And just to
how do you make it fair so that other teams don't complain about it?
Just to go back to the fairness thing that James was talking, is like the day before we raced, they brought all the rental cars and they had extra. So one by one, they took us based on the placement on the previous leg to pick our car. So if something happened to the car, like it was on us. Like we picked,
like
we were like
specifically picked those cars the day before.
That's cool to know.
There was like a mint color one, and that's what we picked.
Like,
I mean, now saying this,
he didn't check the tires. He didn't check. You didn't check that.
Yeah.
No, but all of the other ones were like either white, gray, or black, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
But like now,
But
seeing
they do that specifically. Like say there's 6 teams, there's always 7 or 8 cars to choose from because you're choosing that to be.
so they
fair,
bring extra. So
you
like
know?
that, like everyone has the chance. Even the last team
and even
had the chance,
yeah.
and that happened like through the previous legs as
And
well.
even that day, like with the pouring rain, they realized, okay, everybody's maps completely disintegrated. We're gonna give everyone a new map.
Okay.
That's what we kind of
That's
noticed.
what I noticed too. And talking about new
They
vehicles,
they realized, you know, certain things were happening. Like production is trying to be fair. Although I would agree. Like I don't understand why the penalty happened right then and there.
Exactly. Like
That
it's
it's
just
very bizarre. Of course, we had no clue this was happening.
because they're I mean,
You
and
know,
like
and there are zone crews like at those locations, so it's kind of odd that they made them stay. I get the whole idea, like you're not supposed to leave your crew, you're supposed to run as a pack.
But really, I believe that it was like it had never happened.
So they're not losing footage.
Yeah.
There was a local driving those crew vans.
So
then it's like, where did they go?
the
They went to
island,
the bar, they went to the beach.
the island's 25 miles long.
they
Like, how
have
do you get
GPS
lost in your
too.
own island?
on this leg, I remember the map and our bearings were the roundabouts. There were at least 7 roundabouts on the route that we took to make it to the detour. So like just thinking about roundabouts, like you have at least 3 options on each roundabout, and if there's 7 of them, that's how you get lost, I guess, in Barbados.
Okay.
So I know I just want to say hi to Angie. We saw her recap today with Danny. Angie, we absolutely love you. The Amazing Race world has your back. And you know, one thing that I thought, you know, just watching the show, I thought maybe it was Angie's fault in how she maybe changed lanes. Maybe she's the one that got the crew lost, but no, that's not what happened. Yeah. According to them, they were going around and around a few times in the roundabout just to make sure you know where you're at. Michelle and I did it all the time.
We did that all the time. I was like, I can't find us on the map yet, so keep going.
Yeah, we were just going around. Derek and Claire's right next to us. We're just like waving at each other, like until Michelle.
Really interesting because when you see the playback, you see the crew car. They had no intention on turning. Like,
yeah, none.
There was like they weren't even paying attention. There was no signal. Like, you know.
But again, we're basing what we saw.
See, you know, what
like
see,
on this one, we were audience as well.
Yeah.
So
I do think when we recapped with Amy and Maya today, Maya made a good point that the only like devil's advocate to this situation is the fact that we are told before we even start the race that in theory, we are a team of 4. We're not a team of 2. It's us 2, our audio guy and our camera guy. And in reality, if you can't lose your crew, then I do understand why they might have been held at the detour because that entire unit wasn't there to continue the race.
Yeah.
But even then, I feel like reevaluating the situation and then them getting to the pit stop, I wonder if a time credit should have been applied for them to maybe see if that would have changed the placements. And maybe if it didn't, that's probably why they made the call that they did.
And Danny said he was also, sorry, James. Danny said he's also briefed about, hey, if you get lost, you go to the next spot, we'll meet you there. So
and I think that's also a safety thing. Like, why am I going to pull over on the side of the road in a place I'm not
and
familiar
just wait?
with?
You can't just wait. Like, how are they going to find us? You know, I think something that also happened in that day. So the torrential downpour happened on the way to the roadblock. There was actually a production shutdown for 30 minutes. Because the rain was so ridiculously heavy, they couldn't have the cameras out or all the players. So we had to stop. So as we were
before you started or during
as we were arriving to the
roadblock for the clue, before we were getting the clue, they made us park and we all stayed.
And that's where our times started. So like
as we arrived, they stopped your clock. And then as everyone arrived, they stopped your clock. And then when the rain finally stopped, it was about 35 minutes.
We started again.
And then we started again.
And
so you can kind of see.
That's as well when we got all the new maps. So everyone got a new map at the same point. Everyone, like, it was, again, fairness.
A fairness of like a stop. So you know, they made a call like that. It could have been something that was applied like that towards the end as well. I don't know.
So I just feel like maybe it was a leg with a lot of like decisions on the go,
on the fly,
which is like, it just seemed that way. So
they were like, how can we make this as fair and as quick? And it's hard.
They're actually pretty fair about that in general. That happened to us too. They held us for like 2 to 3 minutes at some point during the race, and we couldn't just move. We had to wait for those minutes, and we didn't know why. It could have been something happened to someone else. Or,
you had a moment. You had a moment like that in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
So
that happened on our season too. We were held, and production came, and they kind of assessed the situation and told us why. And that's why I feel like in this situation too, I do think in good faith, they thought that they made the fairest decision possible. And I can't fault production for that. But as a viewer and someone who's running the race, it's just an interesting conversation too.
It's amazing. It's a great conversation.
It's kind of adding on to the
socials are flowing. The socials are on fire
right now. And let me tell you something, because like up until this point, we keep being asked if we feel like we were threats, if we were a target. At this point, like we sort of knew, we knew that there's no U-turns. So we're like, well, we don't really. And we have proved that we can contend against the physical teams. Mm-hmm. So at this very point, we're seeing the super fans as our strongest competition, because they have the same skills that we have. So we see Danny and Angie, and like they're a strong competition. Melissa and Ivan, a strong competition. Like it's just.
I never doubted Danny and Angie from day one.
Really?
Never. And everybody and I've said it to them, and I've said it on some of our podcasts as well. They were like, oh, Angie, she's so weak. No, she is not. Mm-hmm. Like she almost had a heat stroke on the first day. She pushed through. She got pushed down in bubble soccer. She got back up. Like this isn't someone that's like a weak person. She powered through. You know, and Danny has all of these amazing skills, navigation, puzzles, all of these things. They were not weak competitors. And so, of course, they're the heart of the season, and like we love them, and they're just so genuine and lively and joyous that you forget that they're competitors. Yep. And so, but to see them go out this way is just,
it was really painful.
It was painful. Like I teared up last night.
I completely agree with you. Oh, I cry. I every time Danny and Angie do something good, I cry. They do something bad, I cry. They help other people, I cry every time. Yeah. He talks about the cry counter for him. No, my cry counter is over the top.
So do we put?
Wait, I have a quick. Sorry, before I say it, I completely agree with you of them being a strong team, like completely. Like
that was James' team from day one.
Yes, people say they're weak, and I was like, okay, yeah, they're weak. They're trying to find ways, but. Them being strong is making alliances, because they did win the heart over other people, which helped them when they needed help. Like all of that adds on to the race where you're a strong team. You're using smart decisions based off of your strengths.
Okay. I always say the super fan is never to be underestimated, and it's why Will and I downplayed that we were even fans of the show when we filmed our season. We didn't want people to.
And that was a smart move, really smart move.
I don't really think you played up that you were a super fan. That
we did say it on the start
but not so much.
I cried while I said it. I did cry while I said it on the start.
You guys knew there was no U-turns your season?
We didn't.
Did they tell you? Okay. Yeah, that they did it for us too, and that just changed the dynamics of how we talk to the team. So I was very open to talking about how much we love the show.
Yeah, I mean,
but if it wasn't for that, I would be like, "What's a roadblock? How do you do a detour?" Like I'll act stupid, but we didn't have to do that. But go ahead.
Yeah, there is a social aspect to the Amazing Race, but I don't think you need to play it. But I think Dan and Angie, used it to their advantage in some points, but also didn't need to rely on it. Like they used it in the mega leg. Do I think they necessarily needed it?
But still, it wasn't like they could have been a gameplay, but they're so genuinely loving. Like every morning before the race, like Angie would give us like the best hugs, and it was just like having our moms over there, and it was just like
best.
It felt so nice that it was just like
and we didn't get you guys know, like the COVID season, they really they did not want us talking to each other. They we could talk about personal things like work and family, but anything race related, they were like, don't
but
care.
you're also only thinking about the race, so it was really hard.
So, we kind of made some connections, but it's so hard. You just want to we're all people, like we're people. You just want to talk. And so,
So do we put this under the same category as one of these variables that we can't control in Amazing Race, right? Your flight gets canceled.
Taxis.
Your taxi driver gets lost. You get COVID, right? I think there's levels of stuff of these variables that you can't control. This is probably one of the worst. I think if you guys agree. There and possibly getting COVID, right?
I do think in this situation, I think you can absolutely chalk it up to that, but I don't think it'll happen again.
I hope not.
They've already. This has been a year and a half since. There's already 14 different rules to cover this. It'll never ever happen again.
Yeah, and James and I, we have sources, and our sources have sources. The production was devastated for what happened to them. It was something that they were sad about, and they were gonna change. And it seems like they just had to go by the rules of what happened and put what happened into one of those categories. And they're very fair. Unfortunately, this is how they went out. Danny and Angie, because of this, I see them 100%.
Oh, me too. I think
I told Danny, because he was telling me that he has faith in God for whatever reason it happened, and I was like, yeah, because you got to come back with us for All Stars.
Yes, there's an interlocking web of alliances happening. I really want to see what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard all these little alliances.
I don't know.
I want to see what this.
The one thing that I foresee on the next All Stars, Unfinished Business, or whatever it is, I see yields, I see U-turns, I see
every little thing.
God, I need the U-turns. Oh,
U-turn. Yeah, we missed the U-turn. Yeah, production is gonna be like, oh, you guys love each other. Take this U-turn.
There's gonna be 4 U-turns in one season.
yes.
So all self-drive.
It's gonna be the Oprah of U-turns.
You're gonna U-turn.
And then we'll see if Ricky and Cesar will be joining us in All Stars too, right?
I think they're winning this season, most likely, because of how they're kicking ass. But we'll see. We'll see.
We still have
the Amazing Race is so unpredictable. You never know what can happen on the race. You get one faulty turn.
The Beekman boys are a prime example of that.
Yes.
Maya are a prime example of that.
Especially Nehemiah. They were on your episode today, James. That was
a fractured hip.
And the fact that
you pull a hamstring.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. You have to survive to get to the finale. But once you get to the finale, it's not based off of you completely. It's based off of what are the challenges that day.
Yep.
This is perfect timing.
Hey, Ray.
Mike, are you eating on the job?
I come with that plate.
I'm paying you right now. Well, Ray is paying you. You can eat on camera, bro. Who cares? Oh, the wheel. Yes. So we got Ray in the house, and it's time for the segment sponsored by Ray Fletcher, called The Wheel of Robics.
I don't think I ever realized Ray's face was on it.
Wheel of Robics, brought to you by Ray Fletcher. Need some extra cash? Start an Amazing Race podcast, and Ray will take care of you. Ray Fletcher, the official sponsor of all Amazing Race podcasts.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy that we have 2 cameras inside here and we still don't have the wheel in the camera?
It's just so big.
It's back there.
Yes, it's a really, really big wheel, guys. And let's discuss the Robics on the wheel. By the way, guys, if you don't know what a Robic is a race topic. So basically, we have a giant wheel that Ray bought us. It's behind the screen. It can't even fit on Mike's screen. So it's pretty much a bunch of topics on this big ass wheel. All right, and the topics on the wheel, it's consists of these topics. Topic number 1, Yas Queen. Topic number 2, Ella. Topic number 3, whoa, that was close. Topic number 4, breaking news. Topic number 5, double team.
I'm waiting for the.
Topic number 6, was I wrong?
There we go.
Topic number 7, was I wrong? And topic number 8, was I wrong? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel, guys. Let me get back here. Yeah, it's really bad. It's all the way back.
Wait,
It's all the way.
keep
Oh,
going.
okay.
Huge.
That is
There it is. There it is.
right
Run back, quick.
All right, and it landed on Yes Queen.
Yeah.
Yes, I gotta work on that. Yes. So, Yas Queen. Michelle and I, we were in Japan for 10 days, enjoying our Expedia points, which Ricky and Cesar have a lot of. And we went to Japan, beautiful country. But we couldn't do our recap last week. So, yeah, we just couldn't do it. We tried, but yeah, we couldn't do it. But we did watch the episode, and we just want to play a clip of what happened last episode that just stayed in our mind, right? And this is awesome, and we were just like, yes, Queen! And Mike's not ready yet. Because, oh, there it is.
Yes, kick.
Kick.
Yes, kick. Yes.
Yes, double kick.
Yes, Queen! We look at that.
Oh, look at that extension. Oh, come on, point that toe. What's going on? I'm sure it's pointed at some point.
So we just cannot talk, make our podcast without talking about what that clip that happened last week. All right. So, baby, you want to go ahead and spin the wheel?
Sure.
Go ahead and spin the wheel. All right. So we have Ella. We have, whoa, that was close. Breaking news. Double team. Was I wrong? ×3. And it landed on Ella. So you guys talked about how bad it was pouring, right? So how long did it take you guys to put that cover on your Jeep?
Oh.
Okay, so when we left, it was not raining.
Yeah.
We drove, we got to the gas station, and then it started like pouring.
So we got back on the car and we were planning to drive like that.
Let's just go.
We started like getting out.
And we're like,
nope.
No, this isn't gonna work. I think it took all of like 2 minutes. Like it was fast. It wasn't too. But it's like all those like little snaps.
Yes, that's that. And if you obviously you had a few teams put it on the wrong way, so you had to unclip it, clip it back in.
It was like the detour before the detour.
Yes. And Danny couldn't just think of a song, couldn't think of the Rihanna song while it was raining. Poor Danny.
Wait, I saw in one of the chats, or I forgot where I saw it, that Angie says that Danny started singing an Alicia Keys song after, and she was like, "No, that's Alicia Keys."
And you know what the funny thing is? And the funny thing is that if Danny would have known a song and sang it, they wouldn't have shown it. So this clip is perfect. This clip is absolutely perfect.
Wait,
how they got Danny.
I'm wondering if the episode was dedicated to Rihanna. You don't think they would have
pay for copyright music?
Maybe?
No chance.
No?
Absolutely not.
That's very expensive.
Super expensive.
Not a chance.
Mike is muted because there's an echo.
Face on that little billboard. That was enough.
Yes.
The rain was crazy. Not only was the rain crazy, but remember, we were on the opposite side of the road. So you can't see the lines, you can't see the curb. The water was like above.
Oh, we almost.
I ran.
Glenda and La Mumba ourselves.
I almost went into a ditch.
Oh well, that happened to Rod and Leticia, that they got stuck like kind of back, that they had to do.
That
like,
was
we were
after the rain. This was
like
during the rain. And as we were driving past, I actually saw Rihanna Way through the crazy rain. I was like, oh, it says Rihanna right there. And so
I thought you were saying I saw Rihanna. I was like, what?
Yeah, just walking down the street.
I don't even remember the last time there were elements like this on the race that were like that torrential.
Oh yeah, that looked bad.
It was cool. It was just like
It made for an adventure of like very unique.
Did you have that on your season, James?
No, I mean it just snowed when we got to Paris, but that was about it.
I wonder then 31 maybe, I don't know, but yeah, you're right. I can't remember the last time they had conditions like this.
Yeah.
Quick little side note. So
You're just echoing a lot.
okay, I'm sorry about that. This is gonna be quick.
Go ahead.
I made a commercial for Ballad Health like 6 or 7 years ago, and they wanted Philip Phillips, the song Home, and to get the rights to the song for a 30-second commercial was $50,000.
Ooh.
Just a heads up.
Stadium points.
Bro says that took the joke right out of my mouth. All right. So we have Ray Fletcher. Shout out to Ray Fletcher again. Ricky and Cesar, you told me today that your wheel arrived, which is crazy. It got there right on time.
All right, spin the wheel.
So go ahead. Wait, let me say the topics. Wait.
What's left?
I got to say the topics first. I gotta say the topics.
So we have three. Was I wrong?
So
We have-
yes. We have whoa, that was close. Breaking news and double team. Go ahead and spin the wheel.
Okay.
Spin the wheel on that dog. James hasn't watched our podcast in a while. All right, guys.
Ray was on the wheel.
What did it land on, guys?
Double team.
Double team.
I like to hear myself in the background.
I forgot about that. Double team. So this was watching Ricky and Cesar work at the detour, right? I feel like I saw some teams just, which drives me crazy. Like one team, like some teams, they were just working one person at a time. When Ricky and Cesar, you guys were just double teaming this cage, working both angles at once.
They
and
had
you
legs
guys,
up. They had.
yes, absolutely killed this detour. So let's talk about this detour, guys. Talk about talk about something that they didn't show, the difficulties. Let us know about it.
Okay, so first we picked seaweed, and then we made it down those stairs, and we made it to the beach.
I could not see where the flags were. Maybe I'm nearsighted.
So strategically, they had put all the pots closer,
like very close.
So as soon as you get down to the beach, the barrels were there, and then you turn, and all the pots construction is there.
Like right there.
Then you keep walking, maybe like I don't know.
It was far. It was very far. So they kind of trick you.
Because then the judge was in between the pots and the red flags. So like you have to walk with your pot for a little, like a good walk to get checked. And then farther and you can see it on the episode, there were the red flags. So it was a long.
So we were like,
track.
The pod looks fairly simple. We're good at tinkering and building.
So now another thing I said over there, like I cannot run. In Colombia, I twisted my ankle as I was finishing with the coffee beans. So like I've been dealing with that for a while. And it was just like not getting better.
So you had we had a wrap for you, and it was okay, but we were babying it. Like you said, Michelle, you're trying to survive to get to the end. So like you just got to preserve every bit of yourself to the end. So it was like running on the beach. You hit one wrong mound of sand or whatever, the wheelbarrow hit your ankle. Like you're down for the count. So
we
saw it was very far. We are physical. We can be a physical team, but it's like this is right here where we knew we had like at least a 10-15 minute head start.
We know we have the eye for detail as well.
Yes.
So we just like saw the pot. We picked the closest one. You could not touch the example.
Yeah,
like
they
you could not
let you touch
you cannot...
the example. And so we just got to work.
There was enough material for both of us. I think there was only one set of pliers that,
there were two.
cut. Yeah, two of them. I can remember.
There were 2 sets of pliers, lots of wire. And
the one thing that we regret the most about this challenge, we carry so far or gloves or working gloves with us.
Work gloves.
We had them clipped on a carabiner like next to our back.
That was one of our essentials we packed. We're like work gloves, right? We're gonna bring work gloves just in case we don't mess up our hands.
They look awesome on our back.
And
they look
so great. They like untouched, sitting in the closet here. And I'm sitting here with like bloody hands.
That's race ring. It's race ring. We had the glass artwork, I was bleeding everywhere, and I was just like trembling, bleeding, and never thought to get the gloves.
Sitting right there. We had the rain covers on our backpack, so like I guess maybe if I had seen them, I'd remember. But anyway, so we get in there. He starts on the support beams. I'm doing like the cone part.
And then I messed up, and I tell him to cut.
He's like, "Oh, put it right here." And he's like, "Okay." And so I put the cone in, and
we're like, "Yeah."
I'm like, "No, this is the wrong end." So I have to go back and patch the hole.
Yeah, that scared me a little bit. I was like, "Ooh."
I think that only set us back like maybe a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But you were still working, so it wasn't really setting us back that far.
And also, like, we realized before even getting one check, so that was really nice.
And you don't know what you're getting checked on. So this is the catch. Like James, we've mentioned this. When you're doing a judging challenge, like it could be detrimental to your race because you don't know. It can slow you down when you're going up against a judge.
But we saw it as well with the card that you build, Luis. Like, because you could have been the same with the pot. Like once you bring the pot, the guy was like banging it against the sand. So I guess like if it just like separated,
if it separated, then you have to go back.
We were just like doing multiple turns.
There were other teams that were like counting how many turns.
That's too much.
Fires over, and it was like they were going
overthinking.
Exactly, but that's what, like as a super fan, you might come like that might come not beneficial for you, and like as a disadvantage because you really want to get it. So at that point, we were like, okay, let's put all the pieces in there. Let's make sure that it holds together and that everything is on the right. But that was pretty much it. We got it on our
first try, and I think it maybe took us 25, 30 minutes.
No, it might have been a little bit more because we arrived before Danny and Angie. In the moment that we were leaving, Danny and Angie were getting down. Around that time.
Yeah. I do have to commend you because I liked how they showed this in the episode, your thought process, picking the section of where you were going to work and how you wanted it to be the closest to the display. So I thought that was brilliant.
Good job.
You.
And thank God they didn't bang my cart around in Jordan. It would have fallen apart before we would have walked. Maybe that would have been good if they would have banged
you would have known before you left.
We got first place anyways. James!
My turn?
You got your wheel too, didn't you? Yes, queen! Yes, queen! What did it land on, James?
Breaking news.
Oh, you remember? Do you remember the topics?
I did.
Oh, so we have some breaking news from Reality TV Fan. It turns out there would not be a fall season of The Amazing Race, which, I was so happy to see this season start in the spring. Because I'm thinking, all right, we're right back to spring, fall, like I used to be for many, many years. But it turns out we are not going to have a fall season. How sad are we right now because of that?
Depressing.
It's unfortunate.
I mean, it hits badly because we waited so long. So now we know because of casting that they should be filming sometime soon.
Sometime soon.
So those teams are gonna have to wait a whole year, and we know what is waiting a year. I mean,
Wait,
James, you know more than us. So.
You know what? At least they know in advance, so they can prepare themselves to be like,
Yeah.
oh, we have some time to like kind of like process our experience. Where like we know, like your season, our season, we were never told that we would have to be waiting. Yeah, limbo sucks. They don't have to wait in limbo.
Mhm.
Well, Ricky and Cesar, you guys won't be old news fast. People will
I was
still...
about to say that. You're going to be the new kids for a while.
Yeah.
Because we were the new kids for a while. We were the new kids for a year.
For a little bit,
For a
yeah.
whole year. And
Oh,
so,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
yeah.
That's-
So, mhm.
That was not that bad. Now that we think
Yeah.
it that
Well,
way,
'cause they have CBS now has like a new show that's
Yes, the
the
summit. I think the summit
Mhm.
looks amazing. And
What
I
is it
think
about?
it's like a group of strangers who have to work together to climb the summit of a mountain. And I think everyone on the show like carries a portion of the I feel like I read it somewhere, but they have to work together or vote each other out along the way.
I hope it fails.
Look, it sounds amazing. I can see why they're pairing it with Survivor.
I want Amazing Race.
But I think Survivor and Amazing Race together, just that is
It's-
a beautiful marriage. Why
Yeah.
bring it?
Yes. Yes.
Why bring it?
100%.
Those are the two OG like CBS shows. Why fix what's not broken?
Yes, exactly. Oh, Mike, I have a question for you. I cooked dinner for you. I made a Peruvian dish, lomo saltado. You were eating it while working. How good was my dish on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah? On a scale of 1 to 10.
would Luis have gotten a thumbs
Nine.
up from the abuelas?
La abuelitas? I don't know, bro. If it was my abuela, everybody would have been effed. All right. So we still have a few more wheels. Oh, Mike, go ahead.
I gotta spin.
Go ahead, spin the wheel, man. Go ahead, spin the big ass wheel. We got a few more spins here. Go ahead. Oh crap! Wait, the wheel's stuck right now. The wheel is stuck. Wait, no, it's still stuck. Where's the? Wait, it's stuck. Wait, it's still stuck.
Jack.
It's so stuck.
He spun it.
Wow, that was a workout.
I hope he fixed what he's.
Hey, it happens sometimes. I think it happened.
Was I wrong?
Was I wrong?
Which one? The first one, the second one, or the third one?
Oh, let's find out. Second one, okay. Is that a keyboard? That's a keyboard, right?
Guitar.
He says a
It
keyboard.
does sound like an electric keyboard.
Yeah, right? All right. So, was I wrong?
The second one, then. That was-
So, I have the second one, right? The second one is the tweet. I have a picture there if you could upload it real fast. So, basically, I tweeted last night of how, strong Ricky and Cesar have been this season, mainly because of navigation. And I tweeted that, and then seconds later, they're lost. it was like perfect comedic timing when this happened, and I was wrong. But was I wrong? I'm
Let
gonna
me
ask.
tell you something. I keep
Yeah.
telling Ricky that I didn't know where we were, but I knew where we were going. And especially on an island, as long as I knew that the water wasn't all right, I knew where we were going.
Yes.
And that's what I keep telling him. But for him, he was like, but where in the map? I'm like,
Yes.
it is not a GPS. Like, he's not going to tell me, like, you're
You're
here.
here. Yeah.
So now I see what was going on there, because Ricky wanted to know exactly where you are, but you knew where you are because you know where the ocean was.
I was like, we just
So
have to
for
keep
me-
that way.
Yes, for me, that doesn't make sense.
Mike, can you get his look, Ricky's look again?
It just didn't compute. Like, he was just like, where are we?
Yeah.
I'm like, keep
Yes.
going.
His favorite saying during the race was like, "Well, I don't know where we are, but I know where we're going." And I'm like, that doesn't for me that doesn't compute.
But
Like,
it worked, and
for him that makes sense.
So what?
I'm so happy the
even a
GoPro
sassier
was
face
there.
than that. The one where it's like, I want you to be certain. There's another one that's even sassier. I'll have to try and find it.
How do you guys keep your beards so clean? You brought a clippers?
We didn't know.
We didn't bring a clipper. We just brought a
No.
razor for
And
the
that was it.
underwear.
Yeah.
You guys have really clean beards. So was I wrong? Do you guys like from somebody that's watching your season? Are you strong because mainly because of your navigation? Would you agree with? Would you
So
agree
our
with that?
navigation was on point. Let me tell you something. As a food stylist, I have to find specific ingredients, right? We don't have a car, so I'm on my phone on Google Maps. Maybe like on a shopping day, maybe an 85% of my day is on my phone. Like I have an external
Sourcing
battery. Like
items.
I am looking at a map for a long time because I'm just going from grocery to grocery and just like finding like, so I'm really good with a map. And that's what our thing was when we asked for directions. I was like, can we borrow your phone? More like, can you tell me where this is? Because like that I could see it. And I like, if they have Google Maps, what's better? Because that's what I'm the most familiar with. And I think that helped us a lot.
You also have a good sense of direction in general. Like he could just like remember where something was like the first time. And so, or like just the sequence of directions. Oh, it's left on here, right on here, left there.
And the other thing, I do have to say that knowing Spanish came beneficial because we could ask absolutely anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like as well, it wasn't just like which way. Like, is it that way? And we even see it in Colombia, like when the food race could have happened between Vini and Amber and us, like the guy was just like, just keep going. Like, then you see us on the back, like on the next scene, like we're on the back, because like we stopped and we got a phone. And
there
like,
was never a moment where it was just like, oh yeah, go this way. No, there was
except
always
for this, like,
oh yeah,
pretty much. We were just like, yeah.
There were a couple of times where it was like, okay, we can navigate this on our own, but 9 times out of 10, it was like we were verifying directions.
And I think that's what you saw the stress on this one, because we didn't really like check until we stop at that bus stop and like we asked, and that's when we were like, okay, well, like now we know where we're on the map. I can make it there.
Nice. But yeah, you guys are killing it. I feel like when it comes to navigate, you guys are usually there before another team gets there. Like there's not a lot of place movement switching when you guys are ahead. And
but
when
the
you
other
guys
thing
go
is,
from point A to point B.
I have to give him credit as well because he's a great driver. Like that was like, it was just the perfect combo that it was a lot of self-driving.
I'm very confident behind the wheel. So even like being like driving stick, I drove stick for many years. It was like my first car. I drove stick for many years. So being on the road, I'm very confident, even in other countries, like driving on the other side of the road, like driving in the city, like I don't panic in those type of situations. So,
and we talked about all of this before the race, and like we saw it with Asta and Nina. Like they had a plan, they didn't stick to it, and then they just like fumble. We were like, nope, this is happening. And actually, in Argentina, where we had to do the rally cart, like it says, who has a better sense of direction? Like that's me. I'm the navigator, but for a second, I was like, we have to drive that car. I'm not doing it. And that's
that's why
like,
I drive.
And like, in a way, like we didn't stick to our gut, but I was like, if it's driving, it's like, I'm gonna stay
it was
there
like,
forever.
okay, I have to navigate in this rally car around the track.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the way we were thinking up until this point. Like, this is what was happening.
I'm very curious, and I don't know if you guys know, but I saw that Leticia at one point switch to driver and then switch right back after, like the next time, right?
Yeah. I thought it would actually I thought it would benefit them to switch and have her drive. She's like in this, like she looked very confident driving.
Yeah, but then she switched right after.
Yeah, it seemed like he was a better navigator. And I don't know. I think it would benefit them for him to be the navigator. She seems confident behind the wheel, so I don't know why they wouldn't just keep that as, not that she's not capable, but he just seems more confident in that.
Yeah, both roles are very important roles, and they're both very hard because to be able to drive and talk to the camera and
and also communicate back and saying, okay, see these two roads coming up. where do you see that on the map? Okay, I'm turning on this road. There is a communication because the navigator's with their head down. They're not always looking up. So you have to be able to communicate that ahead.
Exactly. All right. Cesar, you haven't spun the wheel. I mean, Ray spent a lot of money getting the wheel to you. So let's go ahead and spin. There it is. It might land on it's a wheel. It could land on one of the same topics. Did it land? You want to
like, was I wrong? Or I mean, wait, what is it? Yeah, it was I wrong.
Oh my god. The wheel never lands on the same thing twice. Isn't that crazy?
It did.
It does. It's a magical wheel that just once you use the topic, it just gets it out.
That Cesar, while growing up, had wheels that he used to spin all the time, and he knew you wanted to talk about.
He does it all.
Yep, he got it right on it.
He's a professional wheel spinner.
Yep.
I was 4 years old.
Did you know that he spoke the language that they have in Barbados? I mean, it's crazy. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy. He's known every language in every country this race.
Oh my.
You're so stupid.
Funny enough, I got to speak some French in Chile. Like I got like we stopped and asked for directions, and like this guy like could speak Spanish, but we borrowed his phone, and his phone was in French. So I'm like, well, French came handy.
He speaks French, so we would have been very good in other countries too. My secret weapon.
So was I wrong? Rod and Leticia didn't have a good leg.
But they
wasn't
through the whole leg, I have to say.
Oh no, they're an amazing couple.
Oh, they really are.
I loved their chemistry.
Yes, love them.
But they look, if it wasn't for Danny and Angie's thing, that shouldn't have happened. They would be gone.
Louis, every time there's any physical challenge, he's like,
"Oh my god,
have it on his back."
I was so mad. Like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah. I Louis, I have to agree with you. When they started doing the fish pot, I was like, all she had to do was just jog behind him. Like
that guy's an absolute monster of an athlete. He's played the most difficult sport in the world, I think, and he still looks amazing. And he's doing steroids still and all this shit.
Like if I saw Juan and Shane completely beast it and pass up 4 teams, and I'm going to check after check after check, being told no, I'm dropping that, and I'm picking up a wheelbarrow and I'm
in there
seaweed because there's no risk to switch detours when they're right next to each other.
If you don't have to navigate to the next thing and it's right in front of you, just switch.
But that is the other thing. I don't know if they were paying attention because again, if you could not see the red flags, like they should have like been paying attention and see how far was actually.
I will say this: Rod and Leticia are very good competitors, but I don't know that they know the game extremely well.
Exactly.
And so when you go into a challenge, you might not know the nuances like that. So you see, oh, everybody's here. Let's just stick with what everyone else is doing, so we know what's going on.
I mean, the best example was the breakdance. He said, like, "Oh, I've done it. Why not?" But like learning the whole routine.
With this, like, let's stick to what I know. They know, okay, this is a physical challenge. Let's stick to something that I know that both of us can accomplish. And that's also very smart. Both of them can do this challenge without burning them both out.
Right.
What I did see in James' chat, I saw her write that they do build a lot of stuff with each other. I'm sure it's either with like maybe toys for their kids or furniture or all that stuff. So that's the reason why they picked the challenge, but they regret doing it. But every time Louis always laughs about it because he's like, I could carry Leticia on one side and then carry the other. And he said that about the horse at the beginning of the season.
The very first leg. And they did good at the wrestling task, right? but then
They did pretty good.
Yes.
But then they did and they decided to do the throwing thingy instead of the bicycle. Like, I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But that goes back to like knowing the nuances of the challenges. And when you stick to, they are a very smart team as well. So like, I think they're able to switch back and forth. But when you look at them, you're right, Louis. You see physical team, but Leticia is very smart. She can see all these details. And what's interesting is if she had taken the lead on that building, they wouldn't have missed those 4 poles. So like things like that, I think that's kind of goes into the experience of the race. But
Let's give it to Juan and Shane.
Juan and Shane.
Let's give it to Juan and Shane.
And I don't think Juan is feeling good yet.
Yeah, I was like, listen, guys, if you
not
choose the physical right now.
They saw they had no choice, and like they killed
brilliant.
It was a smart move for them.
So smart.
Yeah. So we're over an hour already. Can you guys just tell me more about Yvonne and Melissa? So we found out that Yvonne Melissa wants to move in already with Yvonne this episode. Like, she's ready to move in, and Yvonne's like, no, señorita. Like, and they're using this race to kind of like to see how they would be good in high stress situations. Do you guys have a story about them? Tell us something about them. Anything?
First of all, like, they're super fans, and like they were, or the other thing that we weren't like about up to this point, and like you don't see it much, but they're like they made it up there. And like it's just
they caught up, like
seeing them again, like starting the leg with Danny and Angie, and then seeing Evan and Melissa right there. It's just like, okay, like this is now like worrisome because like that is our strength. So they're really competitive. They're really funny. They have a lot of one-liners. Like the things that we have seen, like there's a lot of one-liners there. And like we saw it with Ivana, for example, on this one, like the strategy that she picked her competitor
with the glasses.
She was like, the glasses, just with the hope. Like
they have a really nice relationship. They are very close, and we talk to them very often. We're very close with them after the race, and they're still together. They're thriving. That's
great. They seem like great girls.
Yeah, they're really great.
So Mike still has his segment. So Mike just got here from Orlando, like literally 15 minutes before we started the show. I thought I didn't think he had his segment ready, but it turns out he does. Mike, hit it.
All right, you're gonna have to deal with the echo.
Okay.
All right. This week on Reddit Reality, let me pull it up.
Oh, Reddit.
I love that.
All right. Is anyone else sick and tired of Ricky and Cesar having advantages? Another episode in which they travel to a country where Ricky and Cesar both speak the language, English. On top of that, Ricky can play street tennis decently. They knew who Rihanna was. When they got lost, they remained reasonably calmish and figured out how to get back on track. Then they realized that their first choice of detours was not the best one, so they changed to the other detour and managed to complete it correctly on the very first attempt, because apparently they're fishermen or something. And all this while Ricky's shirt buttons would have burst off, but they didn't. It's just so unfair that they had all these advantages. What do you guys think?
I'm assuming sarcasm. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it's just.
I mean, it is a little comical. Like, it's the fans have mostly been extremely supportive, and we really love it. And we do appreciate all the support and love. But it is kind of hilarious, like, to hear like, like they're doing so well. Like we just like we can't stand it. It's like it's a competition show. And so, like, when you go to a football game, you're not rooting for your favorite football team to lose. So, like, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, I don't know. I get it. It's like you want to see placement shift. You want your favorite team to win. So, like,
people always love the underdog story, though. But
as a viewer, say that. that to me is a valid argument. No one
Yeah.
likes to see people steamroll competition. Like people were mad at Will and I for what we did on our season. People don't like that. It makes it predictable. But like you can't fault people for being prepared, knowing the show. Like just stop. It's not even an argument. And I don't know. And truth of the reality is it's because you're a gay couple. I hate saying that, but
well, I mean, we did. I read
100% the reason they don't like it. Same thing happened to Will and I on our season, but you got to just drown.
But I'm gonna say something that I'm like super happy that it made the edit on every single episode is us kissing. Like growing up and just seeing like the gay couples there, like Reckon and Clip, like just seeing them like from back then.
Yep.
It's just like Bill and Joe. Like
2024
it's just like how it has evolved.
Because it was called Domestic Partners. Like the
like,
show's evolved so much. It's amazing.
To the point that we were on the opening, like our opening, and it showed us kissing. So that for me was like, wow, like first of all, the dream of being on the race, and like now, like we see it on other reality shows, and like I just keep making the joke because it's like, well, if I see a picture of myself when I was younger and I have to talk to it and like being like, well, now like I fulfill my dream of being on the Amazing Race, but not only that, but like with my partner that I love, and then we're kissing on TV. Pretty much every episode is like I would not believe it as a younger myself, like, you know.
Yeah, and I understand also the other thing with like the language thing, like it is an advantage. He's very fluent.
But on the other side,
I get it. But on the other side, it's not like we chose these countries.
It's not your fault.
It's not our fault.
It's the luck of the game.
Exactly.
But everything else besides that, if we had gone to any other country, it would not have changed. Our navigation.
We're resourceful. We are
resourceful. All of the challenges and things that they would have put in front of us, we would have been able to tackle.
Yes, Queen.
Until we didn't. Yes, Queen.
Knowing the show and being prepared. It's that simple.
It's just being prepared. And also, even if you aren't prepared, it's about being adaptable.
And learning from mistakes. Because mistakes were happening. But
we made mistakes.
Yeah. And every team, I feel like if it's a competitive team, you want to win every single leg. And you don't care what other people say. Everybody else that hates that could kiss my Mike, do you have another Reddit?
Yes, I do. So it's so nice that Rohan and Maya got jobs as the Amazing Race crew after the elimination. Following.
People being so mean. I mean, first of all, I don't get it exactly.
I don't get it either.
What do you mean? They were following Team Walla Walla.
Maya and Rohan got lost.
They got so lost.
They're the crew that was following Team Walla Walla. They got hired on the race.
That's kind of funny.
But you know what? I think
they weren't even the worst navigators, though.
It was just, again, we're talking that Maya, at that point, she was 18. They were overly prepared. They were the kind of super fans that were overly prepared.
Yeah.
Like, it was just the other point that, like, you're trying to adapt, but they didn't have that chance to adapt. And they were so close to being in Amber. Like, they were, 3 minutes behind them? Like, it was this close. And, like, now we get to hang out with them. And, like, they knew the race so well that it just, the moment that,
they're great people. They're amazing people. So next week we see some jumping off the cliff. Oh, and we have to change our camera real fast. Hey, so we'll finish it. Next week we see some people jumping off a cliff into some water. We see zooming in, Mike. Zoom it in. We see Melissa getting stuck on a puzzle, it looks like. And also, we see Rod not being able to throw a baseball, it looks like. That is crazy. I would have thought that Rod knows how to throw a baseball, but baseball is a hard sport.
Y'all, did those cliffs look familiar to you two? Those are the same waterfalls we jumped off on our cruise last year.
Shut up.
No.
Yeah, the one that made everyone sick. Yeah.
The one that gave us
Oh no! Yes, I did recognize it. I forgot to tell Luis that.
Wait a second. I did not recognize that at all. Shout out to Virgin Cruise Line.
Bring
Danny's-
us back.
Yes, please. I want a free cruise.
Cool.
So, guys, James, thank you so much for joining us once again. Ricky and Cesar, you guys are absolutely killing it. Y'all are amazing. It looks like you were talking to the best team all time in the Amazing Race, one of the best teams all time in the Amazing Race. And you guys
Don't let Justin hear you.
So what? Justin hasn't. Yeah, no. Justin's been giving them the props.
Justin's
That
crying
is
at
awesome.
home.
He knows they're a great team. And guys, thank you so much for being on with us. Everybody
Hey, can
watching.
you point
Thank
this to
you.
the map?
Oh, this is our map, by the way. We got it for
It's called Enjoy the Wood.
Enjoy the Wood. It's not a porn site. But
What? Wasn't asking, but okay.
it's a really weird name. But yes, guys, that's if you guys want a beautiful map of the world that you just stick it on the wall. It's gorgeous. Enjoythewood.com.
They could be our sponsor.
Yes, I mean
There you
they
go.
really gave us 2 pieces. So that's
Sponsored by enjoythewood.com. God, that's hysterical.
yes. But guys, thank you so much for being on with us. Everybody watching, thank you for sticking through for the hour and 15 minutes. Love y'all. We'll see y'all
Okay.
later.
2
Thank you,
kids.
guys. Bye.
Yes, Queen!
Was I wrong?
Good! Team, what the? Come on!
We're still alive.